Welcome once again to the World League Finals. At first there were 16 nations, then that was pared down to 6. Now we've come to the Final Four, and who will play for the gold medal tomorrow night and $1 million? We're about to find out next, right here in Cordoba, Argentina. From the Orfeo Superdome on the outskirts of Cordoba, Argentina, the FIVB welcomes you to the semifinals of the 2010 World League Final Six. Russia and Serbia will play in the first semifinal, and a little bit later on this evening, it will be two longtime rivals, as if Serbia and Russia were not. That will be a match between Cuba and Brazil. A look at how these teams have arrived. Russia won two very, very hard-fought matches in the preliminary round in 5 sets versus both Italy and Cuba. Note the 15-13 score over Cuba in the 5th set. Serbia lost to Brazil. Note that 5th set score, 16-14 in the 5th set, and then defeated Argentina, the host, last night. 3-0 in fairly easy, controlled fashion. And so they have moved on, and that is how we have come to this very important matchup once again, and a chance to play in the finals. These two teams, Russia and Serbia, are very, very familiar with one another. 14th meeting all time in the World League between Russia and Serbia. Russia leads the series with 10 wins against just 3 losses, and there is the roster of the second youngest team in the World League Finals. Only Cuba is younger. The average age of Serbia is 23.1 years, and nobody more remarkable than Sasha Starovic, the leading scorer, wearing number 15 of the Intercontinental round, just 22 years of age. So far, not a great finals. Fairly good at the offensive end, attacking, but serving so far has yet to record an ace, and that is a big surprise for Sasha Starovic. Now, the starting list for Russia, currently ranked number 3 in the world. A key for them is number 6, Sergei Grankin, and their new coach, Daniele Bagnoli, has made a very interesting decision. He will include 2 liberos in his 12-man roster, Valery Komarov, number 19, and number 11, Alexander Yonatov. So a change of liberos is possible, allowed under the new libero regulations, and we shall see what happens as this match goes along. And I talked to Coach Bagnoli about that, and he said our reception is so very important, particularly against a team with such a good system as Serbia. We have to have that sort of reception. Serbia in the finals for the 9th time, all of those coming in the last decade. They won silver medals in 2005, 2008, and 2009. Russia, remarkably, their 19th appearance in the finals, but only 1 gold medal, 19 times into the final group of the World League. Their only gold medal was in 2002. They have been second 4 times and third 7 times, including the last 2 years in both Rio de Janeiro and Belgrade. The teams have taken to the center court here at the Orfeo Superdome. We will have the playing of the national anthems, introduction of the officials and the starting lineups, and then first serve in our first of 2 semifinals. And there you have it, the national anthems of two longtime rivals, as we mentioned in both of our semifinals, quite frankly. First up, Russia and Serbia. They met last at the European Championships last summer in Turkey. In that match, Russia came out on top by a score of 3-1. That was in the preliminary round. Surprising result at those European Championships, with Poland winning the gold medal and France defeating Russia in the semifinals to finish second. One player we should point out, Yuri Berezhko, the fine wing spiker, usually wears number 10, and a very important component to Russia's success, out with a knee injury, and thus the addition of the libero. There is Igor Kolakovic in his 4th season now as head coach of Serbia, and has done a remarkable job. This is a very, very well-coached, well-schooled volleyball team, and they show that every time out. Now the introduction of the officials who will be calling this evening's match here in Cordoba. First, Umut Sokolu from Turkey. And the umpire will be Simone Santi from Italy. Seeing Mr. Santi for the first time so far in the World League Finals, and that is because now Italy and Argentina have been eliminated from the competition. Started out with 6 teams in 2 different groups in this competition. Brazil, Argentina, Serbia. Brazil and Serbia advanced. In the other pool, Cuba, Italy, and Russia. So Italy and Argentina are out. And now we will have the starting lineup. First for Serbia. Not nearly as much height and physical strength as Russia, but for that matter, who does have that? Nikola Kovacevic will be at one wing spiker. The setter, Vlado Petkovic, who's been playing really, really well. Really setting exceptionally well. Drago Stankovic, wearing number 7, will be at one middle blocker position. Milos Nikic will be at the other outside. Serbia just plays great system volleyball. Sasha Starovic again putting up pretty good numbers offensively, but nothing very spectacular. Marko Podraštinen really emerging as a real star at the middle blocking position, just 22 years of age, and Nikola Rosic is their libero. So there's the starting lineup for Serbia, and there once again is Igor Kolakovic. He coached Vlado Petkovic for 3 years in the Serbian National League, so a great relationship between the head coach of Serbia and their starting setter. Serbia playing in this tournament without some of its most famous performers. More on that in a moment, but it has not slowed them down. Taras Kate, wearing number 4, currently tied for 5th in the scoring through the preliminary round with 31 total points. Out on the floor wearing number 4, an outstanding blocker, Sergei Grankin. Their 25-year-old setter was part of their team in Beijing that won the bronze medal. Denis Biryubkov at one wing spiker. Dmitry Mazursky, 2 meters 15 centimeters, will be in the middle, along with 2 meters 12 centimeters Alexander Volkov. Maxim Mikhailov will be at the diagonal or opposite position, and Valery Komarov will be the starting libero, but maybe not the finishing libero. This is the 21st edition of the World League Finals, $20 million in prize money each and every year over the last several years. $1 million to the overall winner. The defending champions are Brazil. There's Daniele Bagnoli in his 2nd season. Previously coached in Treviso and Modena, 8 times a champion of the Italian League. Won the Russian League in 2008 when he was coaching Dynamo Moscow. And the Russian Federation said, this Italian's doing a pretty good job. We ought to get him to head up our national team effort. Russia won their group. That was Group C with a record of 10-2. Their only losses coming in Finland and in the United States. Well, Serbia was qualifying the final weekend. They got into the last 6 as the wild card. Biryukov will be back to receive. Serve reception so very important for Russia in their red uniforms, and Serbia in their very familiar blue. And Milos Nikic will start things off. And a net violation is called on the first point and scored by Sasha Starovic. There is Dmitry Mazursky, the number 1 blocker in the preliminary round. 10 stuff blocks in 10 sets. You can figure out that average quite easily. Nikic again. And Taras Kate off the right side. And a very nice decision that time by Grankin, getting Kate one-on-one. Kate, a veteran of the Athens, but not the Beijing Olympic Games. 28 years of age, 2 meters, 5 centimeters. Russia, far and away, the tallest team in the world. And that ball off the block and out of bounds, but it is ruled off of Kovacevic. No doubt about that. Kovacevic may be slightly built and pretty good at dodgeball, but couldn't get out of the way of this. Maxim Mikhailov blocking that ball straight back into the body of Kovacevic. Kate already with 4 aces in the tournament. One of the leaders, Murillo, the top server so far in the tournament with 5 aces. So this is Serbia's system. It may take 2 or 3 or 4 swings for them to record a point, and they're perfectly willing and happy to play that way. They just do not get stuff straight down very often. Nice high swing into the block here by Kovacevic, and good cover by Nikola Rosic. And they'll continue the rally. That's Serbia's system. That's Serbia's style. They rely, however, on Sasha Starovic to put away a lot of very difficult balls. Starovic tied for 5th through 2 matches with 31 points, but no aces. Mistimed on the outside, and Kovacevic, just as I say that the Serbians don't get blocked straight down, that was a very impressive block by Russia. Top blocking team in the tournament so far, and something that Daniele Bagnoli will certainly try to take advantage of. Dmitry Mazursky in the middle has just got tremendous potential, and also very good technique right now for somebody so young. Beautiful serve down the line. Record that ace for Mazursky. That's just too good. That's right down the line, and even someone as well skilled as Nikola Kovacevic, number 1 in blue, could not get in front of that very tough jump serve. Kovacevic this time off the block and out of bounds. And Mikhailov needs to be a lot more disciplined as a blocker, and he's hearing about it right now from his head coach Daniele Bagnoli. Cannot reach out with an attacker as smart as Kovacevic. You just have to go up straight and let your defense do the work behind you. Left side, Beryakov, is there a touch detected? No. I don't know why the Russians are asking, as if the Serbians are going to admit that. You don't call your own touches. Even if they did, there's no obligation for the referee to take a look. Yeah, there was a touch. Referees miss calls sometimes. It happens. No doubt there was a touch on Vlado Petkovic, but that play's done. Quick set, nicely done by Volkov. Now, one of the things to watch for from the Russian middle attackers, number 15 and number 13, Mazursky and Volkov, is that they hit the ball away from their body, meaning wrist away. They hit it almost in the same spot each and every time. They hit it what we call in their body line. They can crush it, but they're not very good at changing the direction. So that'll be interesting to see as this match goes along. What Podrashtin and Stankovic do to try to slow that down. Sasha Starovic with a comfortable kill off the block and out of bounds. Just underway. Opening set, first of 2 semifinals. Cuba and Brazil in the second half of this first evening of the Final Four. The winners will play for the gold medal tomorrow night and $1 million in prize money. And that ball out of bounds. That ball, you can see Russia's trying to play faster and faster, and sometimes they're going to have some errors. Mikhailov maybe likes the ball set a little bit higher, but Sergei Grankin wants to push all of his attackers to play at a much higher tempo. And that ball just missed out of bounds. Good dig by Mikhailov. This is going to be a tough chance up into the block and then off the Russian attacker. Biryukov and out of bounds, and so Serbia now with the early 7-5 lead. And Serbia is winning the rallies, and that's their style of play. Kovacevic back to serve once again. And that ball served well out of bounds. You look at this year's Final Four, and it's exactly the same as last year in Belgrade, but the semifinal matchups are different. Last year, Brazil beat Russia in the semifinals 3-0. Serbia beat Cuba 3-1, and then Brazil went on to win their 8th title 3-2 over Serbia. Podraštinen off the top of the block and out of bounds, and we've come to the first technical timeout of the opening set. Semifinal number 1. Serbia leading Russia by a score of 8-6. If you're just joining us, this is our first of 2 semifinals tonight from the Orfeo Superdome in Cordoba, Argentina. Host of the Final 6 of the 2010 FIVB World League. I'm Paul Sunderland, on hand once again. Started out with 16 and then down to 6, and now down to the Final 4. Of the group in the Final 4, Serbia is the only country not to have won this title at least once. Russia has won one, Cuba has won one, and Brazil will be going for their 9th World League title. Podraštinen, who plays for Macerata in the Italian league. And that ball off the block and out of bounds. Maxim Mikhailov with the kill once again. Mikhailov really emerged as a star at the Beijing Olympic Games when he took over the starting opposite spot from Semen Pitovsky. Mikhailov only 22 years of age. And Volkov misses that jump serve badly. Russia has to take advantage of their much stronger serving game, because if you don't serve very, very well, Serbia will just eat you up. Just ask Argentina. Last night in the final match of the preliminary round, Serbia was able to side out at a rate of 75%. Very, very nice play by Dmitry Mazursky. Just tapping that ball right down to the floor. Well, maybe he could play on the beach with that sort of touch. Grankin. Well, Petkovic doing a nice job, but Starovic getting stuffed straight down. Maxim Mikhailov with a block on the outside. Starovic wants to hit the ball away from his body all the time. I mean, on the left side, he likes to hit down the line. There it was, and Mikhailov reaching out with his right hand to get him. And on the right side, he'll like to hit the ball cross court. Beautiful block that time by Mikhailov. And out of the middle, good change of the direction that time by Dragan Stankovic. Also plays for Macerata in the Italian First Division, of course. Two very, very talented and very young middle blockers. Marko Podraštinen, 22 years of age. Dragan Stankovic, only 24. Very similar to their Russian counterparts. And that ball over the top of the block by Mikhailov and out of bounds. No touch detected once again. Over the top, and Nikola Rosic unable to come up with that. Russia already with 3 hitting errors, and right now that's the slight difference in this match so far. Russia's had the better of it in terms of their blocking game. This is where Russia has to take advantage. And once again, the middle attackers from Russia hit the ball in exactly the same body line each and every time. It starts with a bad pass that gives Russia the free ball opportunity. Now watch where this goes. That's where it's going every time. Number 7 in blue, Dragan Stankovic, has got to move much farther over, not in front of the body of Mazursky, but in front of his arm. Couple of reception errors here for Serbia. I didn't see that at all last night, but that's the better serving for Russia. And Mikhailov takes advantage off the right side. And so Serbia, which led 8-6 at the first technical timeout, is now looking up at Russia 12-11. Milos Nikic not doing a good job moving his feet in front of that ball, and it just became a free opportunity for Russia. Taras Kate, as I mentioned, already one of the tournament's leading scorers with 4 aces. But it's about cumulative service pressure, just constantly grinding down your opponent. That was a pretty easy serve, but not handled well. That's beautifully done. Dragan Stankovic working with Petkovic out of the middle. Tied at 12. If you're not familiar, first 4 sets to 25 points must win by 2. And the 5th set if necessary, and it has been quite a bit so far in this tournament. The first 4 matches of the preliminary round went the full 5 sets. That will be played to 15 points. Stankovic. Biryukov can't put a ball away on the outside right now. And neither can Sasha Starovic. Dmitry Mazursky with another big block on the outside. And for a young player who's very new to the team, for Daniele Bagnoli, really his first season with the national team. And he has been a fixture in the starting lineup. He is, look at him, watching the setter, eyes on the setter, then moving to the outside. And as I mentioned before, he is technically very sound. But I like his spirit. He's not afraid to show his emotions. And that's kind of unusual sometimes for not only Russia, but also a very young player. Perfect free ball pass by the big man. And that ball will go to the floor. That's not your typical design by Serbia at the defensive end. They very rarely let balls drop. If you don't make good contact, they are there to cover. Good reach that time by Starovic. And then nobody moving to help out after Vlado Petkovic kept that ball alive. A little bit of confusion. You see Milos Nikic and Nikola Rosic looking at one another. Very famous, you take it, I've got it. And stuff block again on the outside. How many blocks now for Russia? That is their 4th stuff block out of their 15 points. And a timeout is called by Serbia. And we're 1 point away from the second technical timeout, but Igor Kolakovic just didn't want to wait any longer.
I have none right now. I'd like a little.
Coming out of the timeout called by Serbia. And Serbia currently ranked number 4 in the world. Russia at number 3. The last time they met was in the group play at the 2009 World Championships. That was won by Russia. And that kept Serbia out of the semifinals. And that ball stuffed again. Alexander Volkov out of the middle that time. Beautiful technique, dropping his hand to the inside. And another stuff block for Russia. I had them 1 short last time through. That is now half a dozen stuff blocks. Volkov squared up, dropped the inside hand. That is excellent technique by both middle blockers for Russia. Welcome once again to our coverage here in Cordoba of the 21st edition of the World League Finals presented by the FIVB. 7 weeks ago, 16 teams around the world were trying to get right here to the finals. 6 did. And now we're down to the final 4. This is our first of 2 semifinals tonight. Paul Sunderland on hand, Serbia in blue, Russia in red. And after a fairly even start that saw Serbia lead at the first technical timeout, it has been all Russia, serving better and just blocking lights out. Sasha Starovic and the rest of his Serbian teammates have been unable to do that, successfully put the ball away. Russia with 6 stuff blocks. Serbia trailing 16-13. Starovic again, this time off of Biryukov on the outside, but an unforced error. 3-meter line violation called against Starovic. A very, very unusual error. Probably see that happen maybe once, twice in an entire match. And I'm talking about a match that goes a long time. Already with 3 stuff blocks for Mikhailov. Play that ball with 2 hands, Kate. How about that? Back-to-back 3-meter line violations. Say you'd see it twice in a 5-set match. Okay, so they can't do it anymore. That's a play that all of these players at this level can just do in their sleep. Very surprising. Nikola Kovacevic now back to serve. Biryukov over the top. Nice dig by Kovacevic. And then Milos Nikic off the block and out of bounds. That's why you have to be so disciplined against both Nikic and Kovacevic, the outside hitters in blue for Serbia. You can't reach to them. See what happens with Grankin on the outside. Not bad, but Volkov, he was facing, his shoulders were facing out of bounds as opposed to squaring up and facing into the court. Kovacevic again. Starovic off the block. Beautiful dig by Komarov. And that's a nice block once again by Serbia. And just like that, they're right back in it. Serbia never stops playing. They just play each ball, each point as well and as hard as they possibly can. So no lead is safe. It started with a very, very good serve from Nikola Kovacevic. And then as the rally went along, Serbia just makes the small plays, does the little things. And then in the end, Milos Nikic with a nice block on the outside. Simon Potolsky on the floor now for Russia. And Daniele Bagnoli using that substitution just to slow down Serbia just a little bit. Potolsky, a very, very accomplished player. Part of the team in Beijing that won the bronze medal. Biryukov, and misses that out of bounds. So this opening set, anybody's game right now. Russia leading 18-17. Podrastinen. And there it is again. Every ball from Russia hit out of the middle is hit away from their body. And that's an adjustment that Serbia's got to make. They can't line up on the attacker's body. They have to line up on his right arm. And Stankovic is just not even close. That's trouble right now, and Petkovic cannot outduel Taras Kate on that joust and jump ball. So now Russia back on top by 3, 20-17. And a substitution coming on. Bojan Janic, the Serbian captain who started the opening match. lost to Brazil 3-2 before Serbia defeated Argentina last night to advance into the semifinals. And that ball off the block and out of bounds by Sasha Starovic. Vlado Petkovic, a very targeted strategic server. Doesn't usually bring a lot of heat. Kate off of Starovic and out of bounds. And the young opposite for Serbia making a mistake that so many young players do. You have to turn your body back into the court. Can't face the hitter. Ball goes right off your hands and out of bounds for the score. Sergei Grankin. And off of Kate and out of bounds. Kate already with 8 stuff blocks so far in this tournament. He's been the best outside blocker. Middle blockers are always the leading blockers in terms of totals because they are involved in so many blocks by definition. But Kate is having a big tournament so far blocking the ball. Rosic with a good save. And Janic, did he get it? Yes, he did. Bojan Janic, a very smart, high, flat shot right off the top of the block, and Dmitry Mazurski acknowledges that. This is a good decision by Kate. It just took a brilliant defensive play by Nikola Rosic to stop that little tip shot by Kate, and now it is Russia who calls timeout. Teams coming back out on the floor. Russia using their timeout as the score is closed to 21-20. And Milos Nikic will continue to serve. Seaman Potolsky into the top of the tape. Wow, an unforced error, and Maxim Mikhailov will come right back on. Potolsky on a very, very short leash, and Russia had a 20-17 lead. And I told you, against Serbia, no lead is safe because they will just keep playing no matter what. They don't look at the scoreboard. They just, when it's over, and that's a big miss by Nikic. Russia leading 22-21, first of 2 semifinals, Brazil and Cuba to come later on tonight. Starovic blocked but out of bounds off of Biryukov and Mazurski. And so tied at 22. Interesting substitution coming on now. Mahajlo Mitic, whose father played for then Yugoslavia in the 1980 Olympic Games. The 19-year-old will come on and serve. That ball off the block and out of bounds by Mikhailov. Maxim Mikhailov so far in the opening set, just 3 of 11. Very, very low numbers for Mikhailov. Mazurski has an ace. That was right down the line in front of him. Very patterned server. Doesn't serve much cross court. And that ball out of bounds. Missed it just long. Dmitry Mazurski, just 21 years of age, 2 meters, 15 centimeters, and he is all of that. He's already blocked a ball or 2 in this tournament, standing on his tiptoes. Coming on to block, Tomislav Dokic. Seen Dokic a number of times, and he has come on now for Vlado Petkovic. Tied at 23. And that ball served out of bounds. So the serving problems for Sasha Starovic continue. Petkovic will come right back on. Alexei Kazakov will come on now, the team captain, 34-year-old, three-time Olympian. Limited duty right now, but he will come on to block. He's 2 meters, 17 centimeters. So just went from big to huge. And Maxim Mikhailov, a very, very good server on the outside. Sergei Makarov, the second setter on the floor right now. Mikhailov. Starovich down the line with another kill. Beautifully done. Sasha Starovich looking at his numbers. He needs to carry a big load for Serbia. Inside outs, he's 4 of 6. In transition, only 1 of 6. And that's his main job. As we often say, it's the job of the opposite to take out the trash. All the off plays, the difficult plays to end long rallies. That's what the opposite is supposed to do. Good use of the timeout now by Daniele Bagnoli. He will take this stoppage to talk over. Very clear that in this situation, Daniele Bagnoli thinks that Serbia's setter, Vlado Petkovic, may well go to Sasha Starovic, number 15 in blue. They're opposite. He'll be hitting out of the right back position. And talking to his libero, Valery Komarov, number 19 in red, that you've got to dig that line. We'll block the cross court, we meaning Russia, and give the line, and then Komarov has to play defense against Starovic. Mikhailov ripping that ball off of Bojan Janic. And now it will be a set point for Russia, leading 25-24. And Denis Biryukov now back to serve. When I talked to Igor Kolakovic, he said, my biggest concern is Maxim Mikhailov. It's everybody's biggest concern. That ball is stuffed. Blocking the story for Russia, so they take the opening set. 8 stuff blocks for Russia in that opening set. That is a huge blocking performance. Grankin on the outside. Who gets this one? Look at Alexander Volkov going right over the top of Sergei Grankin. Set number 1 goes to Russia by a score of 26-24. Teams coming back out on the floor for the start of the second set. Once again, Serbia having to face down as best they possibly could Russia's huge block. Look at that. 8 stuff blocks, equal number of kills. That's unbelievable. Half of those coming in transition. 1 ace against 3 errors. No aces and 4 service errors for Serbia. So Taras Kate will get things started for Russia. A long World League history between these two teams. 14th meeting all time in World League competition. And that ball finally, Birukov getting a kill and celebrating. He's had some real frustration so far. Denis Birukov playing in place of Yuri Brejko and playing very well so far for Daniele Bagnoli, the head coach for Russia, registering a rare kill so far. And Mikhailov, good defense in the backcourt that time by Nikic. And Biryukov missed that, but he'll take the kill. And so a couple of successful kills off the outside that time. I guess all kills are successful, but you got my point. A couple of successful swings. Mikhailov is difficult to slow down, and outside one-on-one, Denis Biryukov able to get that ball to the court. If you're just joining us, Russia won the opening set 26-24. Smart shot by Biryukov. And that ball off the block and out of bounds. But you can see Dragan Stankovic moving more onto the arm that time of Mazursky. And Serbia just can't put a ball away. They cannot get a ball past the Russian block right now. Russia's blocking with more system. They're blocking smarter. They're moving blockers around. And Mazursky registering a kill that time off of Stankovic, and a very early timeout taken by Serbia's head coach Igor Kolakovic. Kate serving out of the timeout. Russia out to a quick start, leading 3-0. And that ball, a change of pace, smartly over the top that time by Kovacevic. Serbia right now has got to find some answers, and I think it comes out of the middle. I think that they need to pass the ball better, and they got to go to Podraštinen and Dragan Stankovic out of the middle. They keep setting the ball outside. Russia's going to dominate this match. They had 8. They being Russia had 8 stuff blocks in the opening set. And that ball hit out of bounds, but a touch detected off the top of Podraštinen. And Dmitry Mazursky, if you're seeing this 2 meter, 15 centimeters youngster for the first time, get used to it. He's going to be around at the top of the game for a long, long time. There it is, quick set out of the middle and a good early result. That's where Serbia's got to go. But in order to have that opportunity, they have to pass the ball right to the net for Igor Kolakovic. Real battle of the wits between two teams and two coaches that really know one another well. And Starovic continues to serve horribly so far in this tournament. Through the Intercontinental round, he was the best server in the tournament, averaging almost half an ace per set. So far in this tournament, no aces, and lots of errors. Russia leading 5-2 second set, already leading 1-0. And that ball is an ace. That's a good overrule that time, no question. An overrule by Umut Sokolu. So register the ace to Russia and Maxim Mikhailov, and they are leading comfortably here so far in the second set. And that ball is served out of bounds. Russia's service story so far, 2 aces, 3 errors. I'd say that's a bit of an improvement from the opening night against Italy when they had 3 aces and 27 errors. One of the worst serving performances I have ever seen, and they still won the match because Italy wasn't much better. Volkov with a kill into the deep corner. That's nicely done. That's good work to get with your setter, Sergei Grankin. Biryukov now for Russia. Volkov again. No, Grankin tipping the ball to the floor. Nice shot by Sergei Grankin. And we've come to the first technical timeout with Russia leading 8-3, already up 1-0 after winning the first. 26-24.
Ali ove stvari možemo i da tako probamo se vratimo u igru kao što smo se vratili sredinom ovoga prvog seta. Ajde,
Serbia in their very familiar blue, Russia wearing red tonight. First of 2 semifinals, the 2010 World League. Starovic is blocked once again by Taras Kate, and the numbers just keep going up. That's the 9th stuff block for Russia. So far, this has been no contest, at least in that particular area. How important was it for Russia to win that opening set? 26-24. First stuff block of the second set. And there's the quick attack out of the middle once again. Marko Podraštinen successfully with the kill. And as I mentioned a few moments ago, I think that's where Serbia needs to go, to Stankovic and Podraštinen, to get the job done. The Russian blockers were right there. Podraštinen did a good job of changing the direction of that ball. And that's going to be a net violation called against Russia. The Grankin and Volkov look at one another. Got to move on. They're taking a little bit of while looking over at the second referee, Simone Santi from Italy. That ball served just out of bounds by Podraštinen. Thought he had an ace. Volkov. Oh, that's nicely done. Beautiful set that time, one-handed by Petkovic. And Dragan Stankovic, who also plays with his middle blocking countryman and teammate, Marko Podraštinen for Macerata. Kate, and getting that ball to the floor. Milos Nikic thought that he might have gotten a hand on it, but just caught it a little bit fat. A little bit too much court there, and Sergei Grankin will go back to serve. Russia got to the semifinal by beating Italy and Cuba, both 3-2. Starovic through the block and down, away from Mikhailov and Mazursky. That's a pretty well-formed block. That's just a better shot by Starovic, finding a very, very small hole. Milos Nikic trying to get clever, serving short, but could not get the ball into area 1. Russia leading 12-7. Kate, and he returns the favor, missing that. So far, the service story. Serbia having a very slow match so far in that area. Just no aces so far, 7 errors, and for Russia, 2 aces, 5 errors. Very good percentage. And another service error. See, the quandary for Serbia is that they have to serve tough because they can't match up physically against Russia. So they've got to get Russia off the net and then hope to play their defensive and blocking system and then win the long rallies. Mazursky already with 7 points. Step inside, and Volkov just punishes that ball. Fakes as if he was hitting the spread, and the ball set straight up. See, Volkov looked as if he was going to go straight, and then he just kept running right past the middle blocker. A little good head and shoulder fake to the left, and then an absolute crush by Volkov. The lead is 14-8. Boy, Mazursky is just ripping some serves right now, and Starovic is blocked. 10 stuff blocks already for Russia. Russia has always been an outstanding blocking team. But this one right now, the way they're playing, and they're better in their side-out game, so they can take more chances. That is very impressive blocking, and it forces a timeout to be taken by Serbia. I think what's disappointing Igor Kolakovic more than anything else right now is the lack of fight from Serbia. They lost a very, very tight opening set, 26-24, and they have come out very slowly so far here in the second. Mikhailov and Starovic, the leading scorers so far, respectively. No surprise there. Beautiful block by Volkov. Alexander Volkov with a crush at the offensive end, and this time with a perfect block against Marko Podraštinen. Teams will head to the sideline. The second technical timeout, thanks to yet another block for Russia. They now have an even dozen, and they lead Serbia 16-8. Well, so now, of course, the question is for Igor Kolakovic, what does he do? First of all, he's got to get his team to serve much, much better. That was one of the things that he addressed during the timeout, and then secondarily in the technical timeout. They're missing way too many serves, so they're not applying any service pressure in their own right. Look at that, 11 blocks, 2 aces. Serbia is just getting absolutely thumped here in the second set. And if I'm Russia, just serve the ball in the court. The way you're blocking, just keep the ball in and let your block do all of the damage. Stodovic misses that ball cross court and out of bounds. And some substitutions coming on. Dokic, who we saw before, Tomislav Dokic, the backup opposite, will come in and take some swings at this big Russian block. But it all starts with a passing for Serbia. They need to get in long rallies. They need to pass the ball. Mazurski misses that one into the top of the tape and will head to the sideline, replaced by libero Valery Komarov. So Tomislav Dokic back at the service line. He's played some as a front court sub here in the World League Finals. That ball off the block and out of bounds. Maxim Mikhailov registering yet another point. Points accumulated with successful spikes, stuff blocks, and service aces. There's the play out of the middle. Podrashtanen with a kill. And if you're wondering, Mikhailov, the #1 scorer in the tournament through the preliminary round with 39 points, 34 kills, 3 blocks, and a couple of aces. The odds are pretty significant against Serbia of them being able to come back in this set, but what they need to do is play better. They're just not playing like the Serbian team that they are. Russia with a kill in the backcourt combination. Taras Kate, nicely done. Kate now with 4 kills on 5 swings. Russia as a team is hitting at 54%. Serbia at only 32%. Biryukov. Left side, nicely done by Milos Nikic. But not a good block by Sergei Grankin. That ball was set very tight to the net. And that's where Grankin's got to reach into the cross court. Watch this. Where does Grankin's hands go? They go up. You see his right hand? It's got to be the left hand. There's a good look. His left hand was way late. Good swing by Nikic, but Grankin not a good blocking attempt there because that ball was set too tight. Combination play again. That absolutely crushed by Biryukov. So Denis Biryukov playing in place of Yuri Boreshko because of injury and taking advantage of the opportunity. That is very well done by Grankin, the Russian setter. Rosic with a couple of good digs. And Mikhailov. Yeah, there was definitely a touch. No doubt about that. No question about the touch. Good work by the linesman and the 2 officials working together. And Russia's lead is now 21-11. And there'll be a setter change. Mahajlo Mitic will come on, the 19-year-old. And if you're just joining us, mentioned earlier that his father played for then Yugoslavia in the 1980 Olympic Games. Those games were run by Russia. Bulgaria took the silver medal. And that ball off the block and out of bounds. Grankin, who's really improved his setting for Russia, and they've been looking for someone who could be a very good orchestrator for them, or conductor, if you will. But he needs to become a better blocker. Ace serve right off the bench. Mihajlo Mitic with the ace for Serbia. Talking about Sergei Grankin, the backup setter. To Vadim Hamuski in the Beijing Olympic Games, and Hamuski was probably the worst Russian blocker I've ever seen. And that ball hit out of bounds. So Serbia making a little bit of a move. It's too late, but what they're trying to do is rally their troops and get a little emotion going into the third set. Backcourt combination, Mitic with a couple of good digs. And that ball missed. No touch against the Russian block. And Milos Nikic was aiming for about the 14th row. If he hit it any lower than that in terms of trajectory, he might have gotten blocked. Milos Terzic coming on now to replace Milos Nikic on the outside. So Igor Kolakovic going deep into his bench right now. There are 5 new players on the court. Everybody has changed except for the libero and one middle blocker. Tough ball to hit. Good shot high up into the block. Rosic with another very good dig, and Dokic killing that ball cross court. That's how Serbia plays. They dig, they deflect, they chase, and they just keep playing. There have been very few long rallies in this match so far because Russia's block has been so impressive. Killed by Tomislav Dokic. And Dokic is blocked straight down. That's just not fair. Not a lot of liftoff here in this attempted kill on the outside by Dokic. And that right into the forearm of Maxim Mikhailov. Taras Kate now on to serve once again. Russia just 2 points away. And that ball is on the sideline. Beautiful volleyball that time by Russia. Sort of turning the tables on Serbia, playing good, smart volleyball, system volleyball on the outside for their second-year head coach, Daniele Bagnoli. Biryukov with a very smart shot on the left. Didn't try to challenge the block of Serbia when he was out of position. Set point number 1. And there it is. Mazurski with yet another stuffed block. And first set was very tight. Second set, all Russia from the very beginning. They led 8-3, 16-8, and they close it out by a score of 25-15. They lead 2 sets to none. There are the numbers for the second set. One ace by Russia, and look at that. 8 stuff blocks in the first set, 5 in the second. You do the math. They're just absolutely dominating this match at the net. Serbia in a real challenge right now. They've got to start getting some transition points. They're not digging any balls. Russia hitting overall at 48% kill percentage, 54% in serve receive. And Serbia in blue, Russia in red. Third set underway. And that ball should come up. Taras Kate with the kill, going high seam. Kate in the match so far is now 5 of 7. Was tied for the 5th leading score through the preliminary round with 31 points on 19 kills, 8 stuff blocks. That's a huge number for an outside blocker, and had 4 assists. 4 aces, I should say. Starovic back on, and same result. Bojan Janic will get the start at one outside hitting position for Nikola Kovacevic, but other than that, the starting lineup for Serbia back on the court. Look at that block by Mazurski and Biryegkov. Stuff block number 14. And the third set is just underway. That ball served out of bounds by Kate. Looking for answers. Igor Kolakovic, the head coach for Serbia, certainly is looking for answers, but sometimes there just aren't any. Sometimes the other team on that particular night is just better, and right now that has been Russia. The key, of course, what freed up Russia was winning that opening set 26-24. Mazurski. And Knight cut back out of the middle that time by Dragan Stankovic. Volkov was right there, but Stankovic able to change direction out of the middle. Yeah, hitting across his body. Leaning one way, head completely the other way. And Maxim Mikhailov down the line once again away from Nikola Rosic. 9 kills for Mazurski through the first 2 sets. Alexander Volkov with 9 points total. Maxim Mikhailov with 12. Good balance for Russia, and nobody except for Sasha Starovic putting up any kind of numbers, and he's not putting up the kind of numbers that Serbia needs. Mikhailov once again. Maxim Mikhailov is playing tremendously right now. Was the leading scorer, as previously mentioned, through the preliminary round, and he is adding to that total. Mikhailov now is 7 of 18, but really coming on after the opening set when he was out of the match for a while, very short while. And that ball hit out of bounds by Bojan Janic. So all Russia so far, they got out to an 8-3 lead in the second set, cruised to a 25-15 second set final score, and here they are already leading 6-2 over Serbia. Remember, this is the first of 2 semifinals. The second will be Brazil and Cuba. Smart shot into the block by Biryukov, but Alexander Volkov at 2 meters 12 centimeters. That's a long way down for number 15 in red. Bojan Janic, the Serbian captain. And Mikhailov, that's a good block on the outside. I don't know why Mikhailov won't just go ahead and challenge Milos Nikic. It's a huge advantage over him, size-wise. He really tried to change the direction of that ball and missed it badly. Smart shot by Grankin, no doubt about that. Grankin's in the front court for Russia, so he pushed it in to the blue-clad Serbian blocker and pushed it off him and out of bounds. And that ball killed by Starovic. It bears reminding this is the 14th meeting all time in the World League between Russia and Serbia. Russia leads the series with 10 wins against just 3 losses. Russia's 19th appearance in the World League finals. Remarkably, they have won only once. That was in 2002, and now Russia has gotten to the first technical timeout with a fairly comfortable lead. But again, Serbia never goes quietly. Russia leading 8-5 at the first technical timeout. Teams poised to come back out on the floor here at the Orfeo Superdome on the outskirts of Cordoba, Argentina. Cordoba, located about 700 kilometers west of Buenos Aires, is Argentina's second city in terms of population, about 1.5 million. Been a little chilly here in the southern hemisphere, but sunshine every day, and the organization and a lot of hard work by all of the volunteers have been great here in Cordoba so far. Mikhailov misses that ball out of bounds, and that's 8-6. Starovic again, the leading server throughout the course of the Intercontinental round, and no aces so far. And that's going to be a 3-meter line violation. They weren't listening. I said only 2 in a 5-set match. That's number 3. You just don't see that violation very often. And look at that. 8-5, now 8-7. Starovic has got to get that ball. He's playing behind the block. You're not doing any good there. It's deflected down inside. Not a long run for him. Taras Kate just keeping that ball alive. Starovic starting to turn things up, serving a little bit. He knows he has to. Beautiful block on the outside by Mikhailov, one-on-one against Milos Nikic. That's how you take away the cross court and turn the ball back into the court. Stuff block number 14 now for Russia. And there's an injury now on the court for Russia. That's Taras Kate. He must have landed on somebody's foot. I'm sure we'll have another look at it, but you could hear him yell out, and he went down immediately. He landed on the middle blocker, middle attacker's foot for Serbia, and you could see him just collapse. Oh, he landed on his own teammate's foot. Yeah, I can't bear to watch that. I have done that so many times. And he landed on his teammate's foot. That's how it often happens, so very often. And you can see Kate not wearing ankle braces, as are several of his teammates. So let's hope that he is all right. He has been a key performer for Russia so far, tied for number 5 in scoring through the first couple of matches of the preliminary round with 31 points. And don't forget, Yuri Berezhko, who plays at the same position for Russia, is already out with a knee injury. Dmitry Krazakov, loosening up a little bit, has yet to play so far in this tournament. Well, you can watch at home if you like. I can't bear to watch it. That is a very, very serious blow to the hopes for Russia. Taras Kate was playing magnificent volleyball. We gave you his statistics as far as his scoring was concerned. And now he's out, and Yuri Berezhko is out. So right now, Daniele Bagnoli getting way down into the depth chart. He already had Denis Biryukov on the floor for Yuri Berezhko, and now bringing in Dmitry Krazakov. Krazakov seeing in the World League Finals for the first time, 23 years of age, 2 meters, 2 centimeters. And now Serbia trailing just 10-8, and has got to feel, through unfortunate circumstances, really heartened because of the injury to Taras Kate. Mikhailov through the block and down. And now it's incumbent upon Russia, players like Maxim Mikhailov, Sergei Grankin, to really, really step up their game and hold it together at the offensive and defensive end. Krazakov back to serve. Mikhailov down the line and good. And for those of you familiar with volleyball, you know that if Dmitry Krazakov is on the Russian national team selection for the World League Finals, he is not a good player. He is an absolutely superb volleyball player. But he's not in the first 6, and we'll see how he reacts to this situation. Serving well. Blocked by Biryukov. Good cover. And a very smart shot that time by Bojan Janic. Daniele Bagnoli very, very upset along the sideline because he knows that given the injuries that his team has suffered right now, he wants to get this over in 3 sets. If Serbia is able to extend this match, if they're able to come back and win the 3rd set, this match may turn completely. Russia still with a 3-point lead. Mikhailov once again registering another kill. Maxim Mikhailov, a slow start, but he has really picked it up, as I mentioned, with Taras Kate now out of the lineup. We don't know the extent of his injury, so we're not going to speculate about it. If we get word, we'll let you know. And Janic hits that ball out of bounds. So Serbia so far not taking advantage of the absence of Taras Kate. A couple of unforced errors, this one by Bojan Janic, and that forces Serbia to call timeout, trailing 14-9 and 2 sets to none.
Malo prije su kuvali, sad su prošli su stvari. Ajde, stavljaj.
Teams coming back out on the floor. Russia in red, Serbia in blue. Russia ranked number 3 in the world, Serbia number 4. After a very close opening set won by Russia 26-24, it has been all Russia, serving, blocking, much the better team. Nice comeback by Bojan Janic, sneaking that ball inside the block of Alexander Volkov, number 15 in red. Volkov, nice dig by Rosic. And through the block and down into the deep cross-court corner. And here comes Serbia, back-to-back points. They're trailing 14-11. Good cover by Volkov. Oh, beautifully done by Maxim Mikhailov. That was really a clutch kill. Mentioned that somebody, or more than one person, was really going to have to step up for Russia. And so far, it's been Maxim Mikhailov putting up good numbers so far in this third set. Mikhailov now with 13 kills, and that ball served just out of bounds. Now Volkov having to change direction of the ball. Remember, I mentioned at the beginning of the match that both middle blockers for Russia are very, very patterned. They want to hit wrist away each and every time. And now Podraštinen and Stankovic have done a nice job adjusting to that. And speaking of adjustments, one deserves another. Alexander Volkov over the top. Russia leading at the second technical timeout. 16-13. Teams will head to the sideline. Good to have you on hand with us once again. Paul Sunderland here for the FIVB. This is the 2010 FIVB World League Finals. Russia versus Serbia. Russia leading 2-0 and 16-13 here in the third. Later on tonight, it'll be a very, very stiff rivalry match once again as Brazil takes on Cuba. That ball off of Biryukov, point in possession to Dragan Stankovic and Serbia. Oh, and Stankovic missed that badly. See, you've got two new receivers on the floor now for Russia. You don't have to serve that tough. Kate was one of Russia's best receivers. Bereshko is the best, and they're both out. So you don't have to go for aces. You just have to serve tough. Nicely done by Podraštinen. Put some pressure on these new receivers. Number 3 in red, Dmitry Krasikov. out there along with number 8, Denis Biryukov. That's a good high hit. That one right off the noggin, off the dome, if you will. And another ball served out of bounds. Serbia is just giving this away right now, trailing 18-15. Starovic, good dig that time by Komarov. And then into the deep cross-court corner. Valery Komarov with an outstanding dig down the line. And Daniele Bagnoli was dancing on the sidelines. Remember, we talked about that in an earlier timeout. Komarov in particular, the libero for Russia, hang in against Starovic down the line, and then the good kill by Biryukov at the end of the play. Beautifully done by Russia, and they extend their lead to 19-15 here in the third set. Serbia running out of time here, trailing by 4, trailing 2-0. They lost the opening set 26-24, and then were absolutely hammered in the second by a score of 25-15. Sergei Grankin back to serve now for Russia. Cuba and Brazil coming up a little bit later. Oh, crushed cross court that time. Razikov doing a little self-defense there, keeping that ball off him. Russia can see the finish line. That ball into the deep, deep cutback corner that time by Dmitry Mazursky. That's good, changing the direction of the ball. I like that block by Podrashtin, just too good an attack that time. Misserve by Russia, and Serbia going back to serve. Podrashtin with Serbia trailing 20-17. Serbia has missed a lot of serves down the stretch here with 2 new receivers on the floor for Russia. Biryukov is blocked straight down by Bojan Janic. I can guarantee you Daniele Bagnoli is thinking about taking a timeout. Yep, there it is. Timeout is taken. Coach Bagnoli of Russia wants to get this match over with in 3 sets. If you're just joining us, Russia won the opening set 26-24, cruised in the second set 25-15, and then midway through this second set with Russia leading by 4, Taras Kate, one of their really, really spectacular wing spikers, sprained his ankle, had to leave the match. So now you have 2 backup wing spikers on the floor now for Russia, and that could be a real problem if this match is extended. A look of Taras Kate down in the corner with his ankle packed in ice. A shame, he was having a spectacular tournament. That ball by Mazursky off the block and out of bounds. And now Russia just 4 points away from the final. Volkov able to get that ball to the floor, and now Russia just 3 points away. Russia looking to advance to the finals for the 6th time. Their last appearance was in the finals in 2007 when they lost to Brazil 3-1. Again, their 19th appearance in the final. Only 1 gold medal for their efforts. Janic through the block and down, just finding a small crease. So Serbia keeps their hopes alive. But they are very, very slim hopes the way Russia is played. Vlado Petkovic. Maxim Mikhailov off the block and out of bounds. Mikhailov has done just a magnificent job. And just as I say that, misses a serve. Bojan Janic. Komarov has done a very nice job receiving that ball over the top, and now it will be match points for Russia. Again, last time in the finals was in 2007 in Katowice, Poland. They have previously been in 5 finals, 1 gold medal to show for it. That was in 2002. Starovic, that'll do it. And the celebration is on for Russia. They'll have to deal with some injury problems, but that will come tomorrow. A huge number of blocks for Russia, now with 16 stuff blocks for Russia. Very, very impressive. You wonder about the availability of Taras Kate and Yuri Berezhko for tomorrow. Given the injury to Kate, I guarantee you that Berezhko will play if at all possible. So there it is. After the opening set, easily done for Russia. They win the 3rd set by a score of 25-20. And Serbia will play either Brazil or Cuba for the bronze tomorrow. That was really a magnificent effort for Russia. A very tight opening set. And then Russia just put on a show blocking the ball. 16 stuff blocks for Russia. Very, very impressive indeed. That's the first half of our doubleheader here this evening in the semifinals. Look at the numbers in the 3rd set, and I would imagine blocking again the story for Russia. It was all night long. They had 13 stuff blocks through the first 2 sets, 8 in the first, 5 in the second, 3 in the third, 16 total. Their offense was tremendous. Maxim Mikhailov really picked it up later on in that 3rd set after the injury to Taras Kate. So a very, very impressive performance indeed for Russia as they advance to the final once again for the first time since 2007, when they were had to settle for the silver medal. Again, their only win in 2002, and for a team with the talent of Russia, that is a long, long, long time ago. So congratulations to the Russian national team for advancing once again to the finals. They've got some injury issues to deal with tomorrow, but now I think for the first time since arriving in Cordoba, Argentina, we're going to have